Hi, you guys. Okay, I'm just going to go to share screen, and this is a part 2 of the video that we did on your 0 to 40K in a spiritual business. Now, that video went super deeply into detail about what all of these processes are. And because scaling a business a lot of times is making room for a new business to come in, I would super recommend watching that. And just a note, like these are all resources for point 5. Point 5 is a moment in time. It's where it all comes together. And it takes as long as it takes. So you have time, you're not behind. You have time to watch that other video, but we're going to go through this pretty quickly because we already outlined what neutral income is, what passive income is, what active income is. But this is a holistic business strategy built to scale, which means that you're utilizing the 3 types of income that are necessary. And we went more over that in the other video. This one's going to be really short. This one's going to be 10 minutes. The other one was an hour and 10 minutes. So all begins with the market. Up here, we have our financial goal. Our clear financial goal is, just the number we have on this one is to make 120K a year using my gifts. And this is where, from the last one, we have a clear idea of what gifts and what the theme of this workshop is going to be, because we're basing it off of the data here when we did our first round. Cool. Now, what we have going on here is our clear financial intention. And every time we do an intention, we run that line of supervision. Setting a clear intention is running the line of supervision. And you guys know this from autoerotic. So we're going intention, limitation, tools, retention, action, presentation. 1, 4, 2, 8, 5, 7. This is always how we set our clear intention. So you're going to make that clear financial intention by running the line of supervision. And then the next step for you is going to be getting the education that you need to make this happen, as well as the tech, the platforms, anything else you need to make that happen. And while you are studying, you will be talking about this to your market up here. You've started, it is always coming back to the market. So you're telling your market, I want to make a new workshop. This is what I'm going to do. All of this stuff is coming out of your mouth while to your audience. It's not just like behind the velvet curtain. And then as you're learning more, you are telling that to your audience. You're explaining it to your audience. And this is how you seed launch. So you have that intention, you're studying, and while you're studying, you're sharing that with your audience and getting them excited. You are repositioning yourself in the mind of your audience. You're letting them know, hey, there's this new thing that I'm mastering, and then this is what we do as teachers. The constant flywheel of how we're making money as teachers, like we talked about in the last video, it starts off, you learn it for yourself, then it goes to your one-on-one clients as active income, and then with time it becomes passive income. The more that you've taught it, the more likely it is to be able to stand alone without you. So as we're seed launching it, we are starting to get the customer avatar. We are entering this buyer stage where we are passively creating a customer. This is in the passive spot. So we are talking with that potential customer all the time. This is the function of seed launching. We're getting a very clear idea of who that buyer is and what price point and what time commitment they're going to need from us. All of your fears are going to come up here. Is this ever going to work? Are people ever going to want this? Toe the fucking line. All right. If you hold that line, the fear will back down. So don't forget that, this fear of nobody's going to want this. All of that can be overcome with data. So then what we need to find out as we are developing that customer avatar is their limitations. This is the point of market research. We have that idea, we're learning it, we're going forward no matter what, but we really need our customer to tell us what kind of product they want. So the main things that we want to find out from them is what their time limitations are. And then that's what we want to find out from them. And what their fears are about doing a workshop on something like this is. What we don't want them to tell us is how much they want to spend on it. We want to discover that by stalking their pages and maybe getting on the phone with one of them and just finding out what's going on. But you can know, it's easy to figure out what somebody's budget is from looking at their social media. They'll lowball you. A fucking billionaire will tell you they want to pay $50 for something because they know that if you're asking how much something is worth, that you'll take fucking anything. So don't do that. Then we're building the core offer. And a big part of this core offer is, when it's a new product, you have an estimated method, but then what it's actually going to require, the first round is always going to be a data round, period. So, and we talked about this more in the first video. The first round is always going to be a data round, so that's fine. We're building our core offer. We're building the launch. We're building the sales page. We're assembling the tech stack. We're testing. We've got the front of house running. We've got the back of house running. We're making sure that's all ready to receive the customer. All of this doesn't happen until we've talked to the market, until we've finalized what the product is. So you don't need to build the product up here. You don't need to build the product over here. You're building the product here after all of that market research. And that's really key. This is also where you're building the launch, and the launch is that lead magnet, but you're getting that whole customer experience ready on the back of house. If you want to know more about launching, my workshop Fuckless is all about that. If you're doing autoerotic wealth and you're building a business, like this is your first time doing it, or for anybody, the function of the launch is what does my customer need to know in order to be a customer, and then just educating them on that. So for someone to do waking wealth, they need to know they have money blocks. For somebody to do a workshop on authenticity, they need to know that they're not being authentic. For somebody, and that was something I could probably lean into a lot more with the Fuckless launch. For someone to take a workshop on sex magic, they need to know that what they're doing is not currently sex magic. So that's the function of the launch, to help them decide. And really with a launch, you want to sell a painkiller and not a vitamin, because everyone knows that they should take a vitamin, but it's a painkiller. If you can help people understand that they're in pain, they're going to want that right away. So sell a painkiller and not a vitamin. And that's what that whole launch is being built to, or the sales page is being built. This stage always takes a while. And then we're introducing it to the market. And when we're introducing it to the market, we don't just come in immediately and say, do you want to buy it? We're offering them that lead magnet. We're saying, come on in, come on in, come on in. And this is how we're launching it. And then at the end of the launch, they get that offer. They get the offer right here. So this says launch, but really, this is where they're getting your lead magnet. This is where they're getting the offer, and this is where you really can't do anything about it. You just have to sit back and let the launch, stimulate it as much as you can, but also know that you're on the line of surrender right now. So like, if you're not supposed to have 50 people sign up for it, you're not going to have 50 people sign up for it, but still give it your absolute best. And then at the end, we always explore the data. We ask people why they didn't buy. Like we talked about in the first video, we have a very clear incentive for them as to why they should give us this feedback of why it was a no for them. We're not actually giving them money, but we can give them a coupon off an upcoming workshop. And then that's basically ensuring that they'll buy more products. Or you can give them something very simple, like I'll give you a one card tarot card reading, or, just make the title of the email like, hey, want to punch me in the gut? Because people love to leave shitty reviews and Yelp reviews, and we just have blinders up. And this is where we become immune to criticism, and in Fuckless, we really teach a lot about this, is just being like, yes, fucking punch me in the gut. I'm not going to take it personally. This is all money. This is all useful for me. But just understand that when you ask people to do this, a lot of times they'll be like, I can't wait to outline your character flaws to you. Just skim it. Like, I don't even read this. I have my team read and aggregate it for me. But if you're reading this for yourself, like, you're not going to read it word by word. You're going to read this with blurred vision and be like, let me just get to the point, and have the categories in your mind. Are they saying it's a time thing? Are they saying it's a money thing? Are they saying but don't get into the nitty gritty, because some people that were never going to buy from you anyways will just be like a cunt about it. And that's fine. We can handle that. But whatever you're seeking out doesn't have control over you. So you'll become immune to criticism by actually seeking it out at this point. And then we use the data of why it was a no to build the workshop that everyone is asking us for with that data. And that is how you're constantly scaling. That's how you're constantly scaling a business. Now, what is not directly pictured here, but is what we've been talking about in autoerotic and erotic wealth, is how to set your current active income passive so that you have space to do more active income. we all know that this wasn't a conversation that we could just have in a 10-minute video, but that's what we've been studying in autoerotic and erotic wealth. So let me just stop the share on here. We had that first video of how to start the business and get it rolling. This is how to scale it, but it's just always going to be kind of the same turn events as we're taking our active income and we're making it passive. And all of that is contained, this like cycle. We have our active income, we have our neutral income, which is the value of our audience, and that invisible return on investment, which is what we can't actually measure, but we know is happening all the time, that as our audience is growing, cold customers are becoming warm, warm customers are becoming hot, and there's always more customers to be had. So hope you guys enjoy these resources. Next lesson, we've got one more resource for you, and then we'll move forward, but that's on developing your method so that you can actually scale the business, so that you can feel really confident about what it is that you are guiding people through. And that's how we're going to be doing it. Love you all so much. Talk to you next week. Bye.